I always want to share with you the cool and exciting things that I find while I'm traveling. And here's one of them. It's a bathroom deodorant called Brave Fart. Good morning to you. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is where you're at. Good to have you join me today. A little frog in my throat. You know, Pastor Bob sounds like a frog is something I've heard for a long time. My voice sounds like a frog. So this is a mug that we've used for this year, and I wanted to dig it out again because I keep getting excited for Revolution 2021, the revolution of love. And we're excited for that to happen. It's a mug, it's a t-shirt, and that, and of course the best coffee in the world, Headbangers Brew. That's what you ought to be drinking. Also now in decaf. You can get that and all of our swag here at wearemetalwearfamily.com. Dear Pastor Bob, is it really that hard to find God's purpose for my life? We've been talking about purpose all week long. Every day I feel an increasing need to serve God. Awesome. When I hear you talking about revival, I ask God to let me be part of it. But I feel I'm in a place I don't know, searching for a way I can't find, and I don't even know in which direction I should take my first step. How can I find out God's purpose for my life? And folks, we've had so many questions just like this one. So many people who are trying to find purpose. Well, we've talked about it all week, and and you know, we're not done. I'm going to continue into next week as well. But today I want to talk about your gifts and your strengths, because that's a really good place to start. You know, all of us have been given very specific gifts and strengths. Well, some of them are obvious. If you're a math whiz, for instance, you might want to use that strength in the body of Christ. It's one that I don't have. Or maybe you're a wise counselor. Or maybe you have a mind for electronics and business. Man, could we use that? Or maybe you're a great organizer of people, or you're good at getting things done, or whatever it might be. But all of those things are actually, in their foundation, spiritual gifts. So God's purpose for you absolutely involves your gifts and the things that you're good at. Let's go there. Romans chapter 12, verses 6 through 8, and it talks about the spiritual gifts. And can I recommend, folks, that if you've never done, and I've told you this before, I know, but if you've never done a spiritual gift evaluation, there's a lot of them online. How do you find what your spiritual gifts are? And in Romans chapter 12 here, there's 7 gifts in particular that have been called the motivational gifts. Those gifts that motivate most of our lives, that kind of dictate our personality and how we're going to act and interact and all of those things. And these 7 things are really important. And when you read them, you see yourself. But when you study it, when you take one of those gift analysis, you'll be surprised at how specific it'll get. And that's a great place to start, because then you know what your strongest strengths are, and you can use that as a foundation and a springboard. So, verse 6, having gifts, faculties, talents, qualities that differ according to the grace given us. In other words, God has given all of us different gifts. We don't have all of them. We don't all have the same ones. Together as the body of Christ, we have them all. And that's why it's so good to be in part of a body of Christ, because we're incomplete otherwise. And we complement each other. So he says, let us use them. He whose gift is prophecy, let him prophesy according to the portion of his faith. He whose gift is practical service, serving, let him give himself to serving. He who teaches, to his teaching. He who exhorts or encourages, to his exhortation, his encouragement. He who contributes, let him do it in simplicity and liberality. He who gives aid and superintends administration with zeal and singleness of heart. He who does acts of mercy with genuine cheerfulness and joyful eagerness. Do you see where we're at here? And 7 of these gifts, this is what God has given us. And together in the body of Christ, these really work great. But here's the key. If I have the gift of mercy, for instance, it's a tough gift because I feel for people. I can enter a whole room full of people and everybody's having a good time and everybody's happy. And there's somebody over there in the corner that's having a tough day. And that's the person that you focus on. That's the one that captures your heart. And you leave the people that are loud and brash and you go to that person. And so you're a feeler, and feelers get hurt a lot. That's why you need the rest of the people. An exhorter, a person who encourages you. A teacher that shows you how you can use your gift. A person who has a gift of serving other people to show you other ways that this person might benefit from some more of the body of Christ. A person who superintends, an administrator, to say, why don't you take this person and plug them into this, and let's organize, people and places and things, and yeah. You see what I'm getting at? So when you look at purpose and passion, you have to frame it in the body of Christ, because we all work together. I love that about us here at Sanctuary. We have people, well, I've worked with most of the people here for decades. I mean, decades, like 3 decades at least. Today I'm getting together, working through some ideas and stuff and some plans with one of the guys that we've been together for 40 years. I know, it's a long time. Still best friends, still really appreciate him in my life. And, I've got a friend that lives down the road. We've been friends for 50 years. And I loved it when he moved here, and just so good to see him all the time. These are really, really important friendships, and you have them around you. And you need to understand that your purpose is probably intertwined with these people. You're not a lone ranger. You don't do this by yourself. It takes people doing this with you. So I appreciate those people in my life. Nanette, and some of you watch her family time. She's really, really good at it. And she's very wise, and she's female, if you haven't noticed. And and I'm not married, so I appreciate her insight and her passions and her guidance a lot of the time, because I don't have the same kind of intuition that she does. And then there's Chris, who is solid in his beliefs and solid in his teaching. If there's ever a definition of teacher, that's Chris. Really loves the study and really loves presenting the word, and I appreciate his attention to detail. It helps me, because my attention to detail isn't always as precise as his. I appreciate Scott, who has the gift of mercy, And we'll always pick up those things where people need mercy. You see what I'm saying? And I could go on with the staff, and gosh, I know them all well. They know me all very well, and we know how to work together, and we're looking forward to working even closer together in the future. But see, this is how it works. So when you're looking for your gifts, when you're looking for your passions, when you're looking for purpose, it's intertwined with the rest of the body of Christ. And the first step is to find out, what's your spiritual gifts? What is your main motivational gift? What motivates you? And how do I plug that into the body of Christ? So we're going to spend more time on purpose and passion next week. We got a lot of cool stuff coming. And this is the year of revolution, folks, and please continue to pray. A lot of things ahead. I think it's going to be tougher before it gets easier. And I think it's time for Christians to stand up and make a difference. And it's time for revival. Revival 2021. Revival of agape love. Folks, don't forget, you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.